Robots. They're freaking awesome. Ever since I first watched The Jetsons, I love the idea of having robot friends, working alongside me, helping me with my homework and chores, and just making my daily life cooler. Then I saw The Terminator and grew to fear the eventual robot uprising. Regardless, robots are cool. And what's one cool thing we do with robots? Have them beat the snot out of each other for our entertainment. Hi there, I'm Megablade J, and this is my review of the English translated version of Custom Robo for the Nintendo 64. Custom Robo was created by Japanese developer Noise and released only in Japan on December 8, 1999. Originally a PC game developer, Noise later became part of Marigold Management, a company created by Nintendo to help fund small developers to make games for the Nintendo 64. Since making Custom Robo, Noise has made a surprisingly small amount of games, mainly developing the Custom Robo series. There were 2 for the n64, 1 for the GameCube, 1 for the Nintendo DS, and even a version for the Game Boy Advance. The latest games they've made are Gyro Zetter, Wings of the Albatross for the 3DS, and Hosho no Dragon Quest, a Dragon Quest spin-off game for mobile devices. In Custom Robo, you play as the new kid in town. Your cousin is showing you around and introduces you to the popular sport of Custom Robo. Custom Robos are these tiny robots kept in cubes that you control with your mind and use to battle other Robos. It reminded me a lot of a mixture of Pokemon and the Mega Man Battle Network series for the Game Boy Advance. The story does seem to be aimed at a younger audience, but it was still enjoyable. The bulk of the story mainly focuses on winning tournaments, but the character interactions are fun, and there are enough plot twists to make things interesting enough to make me want to see it through to the end. You'll be spending most of your time on the overworld map. Here, you interact with NPCs and have story elements. In this mode, the game uses 2D sprites, and honestly, it does not look very impressive for an n64 game. The battles, though, are complete opposite. The game switches to using 3D models and allows you to run, shoot, and jump in a full 3D range of movement. Battles are fast and strategic as you run along using cover to block enemy attacks while you wait for your chance to strike. Your Robo is very customizable, hence the name, with every battle won netting you newer weapons and parts to pimp out your Robo. One arm has your primary gun. It can be a laser, Gatling gun, swarm of homing bees, bubbles, etc. Your other arm is a launcher that fires a variety of bombs. Some may fire straight at the enemy, others may leave a slowly exploding blast radius, or may split into 2 bombs that help to box in opponents. Different legs adjust your running, jumping speed, distance, and number of times you can air dash to avoid attacks. Lastly, there's pods. Effectively using pods can make all the difference in battle. Some pods will act as landmines. Some may hover above foes so they can't jump to avoid your attacks. Others will travel along the ground and home in on targets. These act as your wildcard in battle and can be used to keep your foes constantly on their toes. The sheer amount of customization for your Robos is incredible. Each weapon and part is different and will need a different playstyle and strategy to make the most use of their strengths and weaknesses. The game starts off easy with your foes being weak and slow, but as the game progresses, your enemies become smarter and tougher. They start dodging your attacks like the Roadrunner or Crack and will easily destroy you if you don't use cover and your weapons effectively. Trust me, you're going to hate fighting enemies that have the Dragon Gun until you figure out how to dodge it properly. The music is pretty good. Not the best I've heard on n64, but not bad. You won't be humming any to yourself after you're done with the game, but there are a few memorable battle tracks here and there. The music for battle can be surprisingly upbeat, for two robots fighting to the death, though. The graphics are a bit of a mixed bag. As stated before, the game will switch from 2D sprites for the overworld portion of the game, while battles take place in a fully 3D arena. The sprites look decent, but the 3D models are very impressive. There are a surprisingly large amount of different holographic arenas to battle in. Each has their own unique theme, such as being underwater, fighting on a giant cake, or on top of a skyscraper. Many have objects moving in the background, floors that rise and fall, changing possible cover areas, or just act as hazards. Another thing that impressed me was that each new weapon you get looks different from the last. Whether it be color or different shape, I was impressed at the effort they put into making each weapon look unique. There was a little slowdown when there were a lot of explosions and pods bouncing around, but nothing that affected the gameplay. You do have rematches with past foes quite often, and at first it was a bit tiring fighting the same people repeatedly. But each repeat encounter changes your opponent's weapons, and with it, how they fight. This makes most refights feel fresh enough where you won't get bored. There are a few graphical glitches here and there. Not sure if they were in the original game, or are the result of the translation process, but it's nothing game-breaking and can lead to some hilarious moments. Like a lot of n64 games, there is a multiplayer mode that unlocks after you get to a certain point in the story. As you play, you'll unlock more arenas, robos, and parts that can be used in the single player. In this mode, you can select any robo available and mix and match parts for a staggering amount of battle tactics. Each robo has their own strengths, weaknesses, and unique physical attacks. Some robos are small, fast, and hard to hit. Some are big and tough to knock down, while others can dash multiple times and are almost untouchable while in the air. It's a shame that in the single player, you can only play as the hero robo. I would have loved to be able to play as the ninja robos in the main story. But if you have a buddy that's willing to play, you can come up with some really intense one-on-one matches. Overall, this was a very good game. It has a good learning curve, lots of parts to earn, a robust multiplayer mode, and a decent single-player story that took almost 11 hours to beat. This is another example of a Nintendo game that should have been brought over to the West. As a kid, I loved building model robots, and I would have adored this game. Though later games in this series were brought to the West, this one was only released in Japan. But there is a fan translation available online. If you want a physical copy, you can buy it off eBay for around $10. I definitely recommend this game. It's fun, colorful, and it's great to finally be able to play another entry in N64's limited RPG library. Thank you all for watching. This has been Megablade J, and if you liked the review, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next mission. Bye.